Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the spooky night version of Left and Correct.
Le- right where both of us are left
But only one of us is
is
spooky.
dead. Oh,
Oh, dead, yes.
and
Only one of us
spooky.
is dead.
And the other spooky.
Uh,
Ooh. It's a good proper theme considering tomorrow is the 4th of July.
oh, the spookiest day of the year.
Spookiest day. Ooh.
Well, it might be a ghost holiday, as all the news is saying. Maybe America is dead now. All the holidays are taken down.
Who's saying all the holidays are taken
All the
down?
all the I've seen all the news, all the articles, all the commentators are saying
Oh,
they've thrown out all the old ways.
all the old
They
ways. Throw it, cast it aside,
cast
and
aside.
nothing means anything anymore, and they're just tearing down our country and our symbols, and uh Donald Trump he's gonna keep it, he's gonna take it back, because if Joe Biden wins, we're all gonna be dead. Everyone's gonna be dead, and Republicans are gonna be hunted in the streets.
That's a
Like,
fact.
it's a fact. The guy who created Dilbert said it. It's a fact.
The
And
guy's great.
it's he did,
He said that.
he did on Twitter, and
I
people are
love it.
like, "Oh, okay." Like, our ways, and right now, our brave, fearless leader, he's at Mount Rushmore, and he is
Protecting it.
protecting the sacred heritage of Mount Rushmore, and by setting off fireworks all around it, when the Park Service has been explicitly clear that the forests surrounding Mount Rushmore are highly flammable, and it's ill-advised to be setting off fireworks. But no, he's going to protect it and protect you from.
I heard nothing about this. Was this
Oh
real?
yeah, yeah. The Park Service, you're not allowed to set off any kind of fireworks. Fireworks have been banned for over 10 years. But because he's there and because he's a piece of shit, he's like, no, we're gonna have fireworks. It's the 4th of July. They're gonna shoot from behind Mount Rushmore. And it's like, but the trees below are like old and highly flammable. Like, no,
Oh my gosh.
I know. Could you imagine? Like, oh, he gives
What if
this
he
like,
burns himself to death?
that's
I mean, that would be pretty cool. You got to admit.
I'm
Is
not gonna.
Ken with him?
I mean, I hope so. Oh, and by the way, like, masks are optional. No one's social distancing. The
Well, they're
usual.
in the woods. You know, there's
No,
no
but they're all like in
in the
this enclosed.
woods.
It's not just like a campground. It's like an amphitheater where people like are seated like a normal theater next to one
Uh,
another.
Honestly, this is so weird. Oh, there is an amphitheater there. I remember learning that years ago
Oh, I
because of
didn't know
Google
that.
Maps. Yeah, there's like this crazy Greek theater that they built at like the bottom of it so that you can
Yeah.
go and essentially take pictures, and everybody gets these really good pictures of Mount Rushmore. Um, it's kind of cool, but I guess that makes sense that he would go there if he was celebrating it. But
And like
I
his,
that's weird. I
he
was
cares
reading all
more
the news
about
today.
statues and monuments.
I didn't hear a single thing about this. So odd.
About
Has a
about
president ever gone there? I'm sure they
I'm
have.
sure I'm sure they've said, I that would it would be weird if they didn't. But on the other hand, they're not going there to be like, this is our heritage. It's usually some kind of general, America is a wonderful place and blah blah blah. Not, tearing down our statues of our heroes. Like, no, ugh, okay.
I mean,
I mean, hey, this is the summer of doubling down. So this is, I've decided that's what it is, and that is what he's decided to double down on.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that many of, well, I don't think any of those presidents would have gone for his policies.
Uh,
Although I don't know, kind of hard
oh.
to guess what someone like George Washington would think about the modern age. I
Oh.
guess it would be very complicated.
I don't think he. I don't know. I don't know. Um.
They're one of my favorite SNL sketches, which I don't even like SNL, but I know, brave thing to say.
Brave, so
Uh,
brave.
um,
See, it's the
so
summer of
brave.
doubling down. It's the
Summer
summer.
double down, you
Yep,
know?
double down summer.
Uh, but years ago, they did this sketch, time travel, and they brought back George Washington, and all he could do is scream, and then he died. He's just like, "What is this? What have you done? What have you done to me?" And I was like, "Yes, that's probably what time travel would be like if you sucked someone forward,
Right, right.
before electricity. I mean, maybe they could chill out, because it's not like our technology is that scary, but it's always
It
funny
would
to me
be
when it's
terrifying. Could you imagine like someone from the late 18th century seeing like a cell phone? Like, first of all, what's a phone? Second of all, what do you mean? You could just press on this black box and then you can connect to anywhere in the world and see anything. It's yeah.
amazing.
Even just like indoor plumbing and fresh water and
Well,
those kind of
we say that we all have this thing that they're so dumb, but I guess it depends where they're from because, like the founding fathers were all about the Enlightenment, which means they studied Greece and Rome extensively, which means that they knew that there was heated plumbing in Rome. Like they
right,
knew it
but
was
in
possible.
like New York City, people were throwing chamber pots into the street.
It's true. It's
So,
true. It's true.
so
But
I mean, yeah,
I,
they knew about it, but there was
I just think they wouldn't be as scared
are you
as whatever.
what are you looking over your shoulder?
There's just weird noises out the window because
is your room
it's
spooky? Is it
spooky.
spooky sounds?
No, it's like first there was the loud fireworks, which has calmed down as we talked about.
Yes, it
I love how
has.
everybody got in a tizzy into some conspiracy theory when it's just like it was just people lighting fireworks. I mean,
I know. Yeah. And like the
um,
second like everyone started really talking about it, it just like there was this unspoken understanding of like we're not doing them anymore, guys. It's like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
spot
Well,
let's
there's been a few going off still, but then
yeah.
also there was just like music that was so. I live on the fifth floor, and it was so loud. So they must have had maybe it was a car going by. I'm like an old man. There's
Oh,
kids driving by my window.
I've become like this like crabby old woman, the I'm incredibly I had like the gentleman friend. He's been very like, this is a new problem with you, whenever like music plays. And I'm like, I can't live here anymore. Just like this never happened before with you. This is a new thing. And I'm like, no, this noise. I can't. Like, how have you lived in New York for almost 20 years? I'm like, it's never been like this. So I getting I just
Ugh.
uh gotta get out of the house.
It's really terrible. I mean, this week I spent the whole time in the house. I think I don't think I left
Yeah.
once. I don't think so.
Wow.
I had put it on my calendar to start doing yoga again on July 1st, and I didn't start doing it.
Ooh. Yeah,
I
I know
didn't start.
I'm always like, gotta start doing yoga again. And every morning I'm like, blah, I just want to eat my cereal. But yeah, yeah. And
What? But what else
things
is
were
going on? Oh, go
oh, I
ahead.
was just like, but about like getting out of the house and like, maybe even getting out of New York City. Like, yeah, things were looking up, but now not so much. Not so
Because of the
much.
COVID, you mean?
Yeah, the COVIDs. Yeah, yeah. I mean, New York State seems to be still stable. Certainly better than 36 states this week had a surge. 36. So it's not looking good, and the president is keeps saying it's just because they're doing more testing, which is frightening. I mean, I guess in like Trump logic, it's like, yeah, if you test more people would potentially come back positive. Whereas like in March, nobody could get a test except people who were dying. So yeah, there's more people, but that means that there's more people who are infected. So it's like the logic there is special at best. But it's it this is gonna last a lot longer than we want it to.
I guess
That's all.
so.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't. Well,
At
uh,
least, at least they got Ghislaine Maxwell, huh?
That's just what I was trying to pivot to. I was trying to think of some way to pivot to it.
There you did. I did it. I did it.
You did it for me. Thank
I
you.
did it.
It's a
You're
sign of a
welcome.
good co-host. We're
That's
connected.
right. Yep.
Um, they got Ghislane, but what's wild
They
about it
got him.
is why'd they wait so long? They clearly were tracking her.
Yeah. I one
Because they just
conspiracy,
like picked her. She
but I think
owned
it's
this house.
right in New Hampshire, which I'm like, where in New Hampshire were you? New Hampshire's weird because New Hampshire, it's like very like live free or die is the slogan, and so it's like like working class people, and then it's like mega wealthy who live around like Winnipesaukee and stuff. It's very bizarre. So she must have been one of those types, but ooh, but now remember so the SDNY is the one uh charging her, correct?
I think so. But
Yeah,
well, the FBI arrested her
the
because she
FBS.
was technically on the run.
Well, I mean, yeah.
But it seems like she had a real easy run because she was in a home that she owned. Did they just not check there for the past few months?
Do do do. I mean, when you have so many homes, how can they find you?
I mean, I
But
listen to
it's
True Anon. Oh, go ahead.
oh no, you okay. So
I listen to this podcast called True Anon. It's wonderful. I've told you about it. Everybody should listen to it. It's actually very good. But I'm no Jeffrey Epstein expert. So I don't actually know whether they were. Was she actually on the run? I can't remember. And I just
I don't
listened to
think
an
so.
episode a
No, I
day.
mean, I think when he was apprehended, it was more like I think she was being cooperative, but still a person of interest. So it probably would not have been in if she had fled, like left the country, then it would have been like, oh shit, that would have been a bad look. Um, so she's been laying low for the past year, and now I guess it all finally caught up.
Well,
But this is in conjunction with remember how Bill Barr was trying to push out the guy at the SDNY who he didn't quit or like he like retired and he resigned and the position he like what is it promoted like gave a promotion to someone else within the SDNY whereas Bill Barr wanted to put like some lackey of his. Now Bill Barr's father was the one that hired Epstein back at Dalton, I want to say, one of those like, the prep
hmm
schools. So like they're all like there's all this like weird connections going on in that world of, New York power elite. And, you know, I wonder if it's
yeah,
connected.
Epstein is 100% connected to the Clintons and the Trumps
Well,
and to
right,
he,
to
he,
Prince
he,
Andrew, and like all these,
yeah,
and it's all in this weird way of but how did he really make his money? Like that's the kind of thing.
right.
And
Well, he
Ghislane has like weird connections, like through her father, with all the sorts of, like,
well, Ghislaine's
yeah,
father worked for Mossad,
that's
and
the one I was
then
thinking of. Yeah,
and then he supposedly tried to he did rob Israel. He like embezzled funds from Israel and
yes,
tried to blackmail Israel, and then he suspiciously fell off his yacht and
killed
drowned.
himself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a guy who had millions of dollars, no problems, but just also
as
worked
you
for
do.
Mossad is just magically dead.
Just also
So
right. So even
one of
that,
the
so
big
it's
ideas about Jeffrey is that Jeffrey works for Mossad or did work for Mossad, and that his job was to get blackmail on rich people.
because it just kind of right, right. And
Yeah.
like blackmail all these wealthy people with all this sex trafficking and that kind of stuff and there i i I
That
hope
makes the most sense because,
she
and as
does
far
it.
as
I
how he had access to money, he was like a hedge fund manager for
right but like
Wexner.
I think so there's money and then there's like I own an island money
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that's and I'm like hobnobbing with royalty and presidents and business people like it's but with the one thing I will say is with the connection with the Clinton Foundation going to Africa and like it's the thing with abuse. Now, bear in mind, like none of so far, none of these they're now women, but the girls, like no one has accused him of anything.
Hmm.
And uh but the thing with abuse is where it's like, did he probably do something? Probably, yes. I mean, hello. But not every instance, not every interaction that a shitty person has with people is going to be messed up, because that then creates the world. I mean, like, think of like the people we know in the comedy scene who it's like we find out that they're rapists or abusers, and it's like not everyone, that person is never abusive towards everyone they encounter. That person may date someone and then rape someone else. So the one woman is saying, he's fine. And the other one is saying, no, he's not. Because, like, that's how abusers operate. So the network, and because they were involved with such high powered people, like, I'm sure there are people who legitimately are like, I don't know anything about this, but their connection now makes them suspicious. And it's fascinating. But in the end, I hope these girls get justice, because it's absolutely friggin' disgusting what has happened to all of them. And like, I had heard about this long ago, because I remember the story with Prince Andrew. That's not new.
Oh,
Um, that's been
long,
around
long
for a
ago. Like
while,
how long ago? Because I remember it like 6 months ago.
like 10 years ago.
Oh,
Yeah. Like, I remember that I think she had first come forward with that story, and it was like, oh, pushed aside, like, oh, no, she must be mistaken. Oh, they're friends, like that. They were able to skirt it on that. And then I think probably it was like the past 2 years, Epstein and his relationship to Trump. I remember reading something like at his rallies, like during the 16 election, like all people, like he attracts crazy people with their caravans and their t-shirts and stuff. But I remember reading something. There was only one time where like he was kind of taken aback by a sign, and it was someone had a sign with Jeffrey Epstein's face on it. And that to me was like, what's that about? And then it's like, oh, who is this person? Because I mean, Trump was basically inspired by him and by John Casablancas to start this whole, like, the Trump modeling agency and the pageants and all of that stuff. Like, it's just a, another version of sex trafficking for him, it was under the guise of modeling and pageants and stuff. And it's really gross. Really gross.
and yet somehow your
But
heroes, the Clinton, are still innocent in your mind.
my heroes? I never. Yeah, you know me.
Heroes.
My heroes. My heroes. I will
According
say.
to this, according to whatever reporting, Bill Clinton was on the Lolita Express, disgusting what they called his plane, um, 26 times.
Right.
So,
See, this is what I'm saying. It's like, that's not like, oh boy. Oh boy. Ugh. Ugh. But I mean, there are depositions there of the woman who was 13 at the time
yeah.
of Epstein and Trump, like, raping her. So it's like, if I don't know, don't get me wrong. I'm certainly not uh
Well, look, with something this
keeping
high
my,
level, I mean, if it's reaching all of the leaders of the free worlds and the richest people, there's going to be cover-ups on cover-ups and bribes on bribes, and people are going to put out whatever narrative they want to based on who they like and who they don't. I mean,
well,
it's
I
something like
mean,
this is
the
almost
Clintons are
impossible to
not
ever know the
liked.
truth.
Hey, I mean, the Clintons are not liked. I don't know why.
Yeah,
So
absolutely, absolutely.
I
But
mean, at
I hate
this
that we're even
point,
talking about this because I'm not an expert in this Jeffrey Epstein thing, like I said. But there was the whole thing about how in the raid on his Upper East Side mansion, the FBI supposedly removed all these tapes, and no one ever saw them. Lawyers for no side ever saw these tapes that were removed. So it's like, all I'm saying is that, like, our government has factions in it too of people who like and don't like each other, you know, and also maybe they're just using it as blackmail still. I mean,
exactly.
literally
Who
anyone could get
knows?
blackmailed. So,
Like,
yeah.
I can't. You can't blackmail me. No,
Really?
no. Um, but
What do I
Jeffrey Ep-
have over here?
Oh no! But Jeffrey
Like,
Epstein
keep your
died on my birthday last year, you know. Yeah. So
that's a
August 10th
message they
is
were sending you, a powerful message.
weird things happen around my birthday. Uh yeah, we'll get into it sometime. But August 10th is coming up, so Ghislane better watch out. Ooh.
I mean, yeah, what do you think? Is she gonna be suicided too?
Um, I don't. I hope not. Um, but would she take her own life? I don't know. She hasn't yet. So
I
if
mean,
if she were going to commit suicide, one would think that it would have been already happened, given the walls are closing in now that she's in in custody, and who knows of the nefarious secret agencies and entities that lurk in the shadows on this spooky day.
spooky
I
day.
spooky for
Ah,
Ghislaine.
what else is spooky that we can talk about? Oh, this soldier that was killed. They just found her body. You read about this?
Oh God! Oh, that poor girl. Yes. Yeah, I don't know the full story, but I know that she had been so is this like she had been missing, and they found her
Yeah,
body
just a
parts
missing
in cement.
person, and they found her body in a grave. They believe now from forensics that she was killed at Fort Hood,
Ooh.
which I believe is a Marine base, right? If
Mhm.
I'm looking at this correctly.
Yeah.
Um,
Named after a Confederate general, John Bell Hood.
well,
Mhm.
wow, wow.
Yeah.
Cancel
Yeah.
that place right
Tied
away.
it in. No, Trump doesn't want to because he wants to save our history. But anyway, let's get back to her.
So I don't know much to say about it other than that she was missing, and now they believe that she was murdered. I mean, this sounds probably just like a simple murder. I mean, which is a horrible
It's
thing to
it's
say.
it's that's someone's life. That's someone, so she's a member of someone's family. Now, I had seen that she had been making reports of being like harassed or stalked or something to that effect of like by an ex. Is that am I
Hmm. I didn't read
and
that much
like
about it.
where it I love I'm like I really only just saw headlines and yet somehow I know more.
Yeah,
You've
you do know a lot for reading headlines.
got it's all you need. But if that's the case, if it is a matter of another soldier, of like of violence against women, it's and again, if she had tried to speak out saying like, hey, this guy's, freaking me out, what are you gonna do? And nothing gets done, again, it all falls back to people not being accountable for their actions and not holding people responsible for the things that they do,
Well,
not
Adrian,
taking women
that is
seriously
the
when they
entire
say,
U.S. military.
that's what I'm saying. This is, so it's,
I
you
mean, the
know,
amount of rapes. The
yeah.
most male on male rape happens in the U.S. military.
Ugh, I did
It's
not know
an
that,
it's an
but
outrageous
now I
number, and
do.
it's also considered to be massively underreported
Yeah.
because not only do men not report when that happens to them, but uh, it's this power structure. I mean,
Yeah.
it's classically so. I mean, the famous what was the movie G.I. Jane has a subplot about that assault,
I've
right?
never seen G.I. Jane.
Very good movie. Demi Moore, brilliant actress. Um, but yeah, this is the thing that just the media doesn't talk about. It's constant.
Yeah.
There is soldier on soldier sexual assault, and then I tell you, everywhere on the planet where our military is based, they are sexually assaulting citizens of those countries on a daily basis. It is out of
Well,
control,
we
but
are
nobody cares.
Americans. That's, yeah.
Nobody cares. I mean, the amount of crimes that our military commits just in that aspect should have,
Well, people don't.
you
I
know,
mean, when it comes to in terms of like people don't care about women. Like they just don't care. Like that's kind of uh, a thing. Misogyny. That's a thing.
yeah.
So violence against women is something that we're running out of time, but we could get into it another time. But yeah, that doesn't surprise me. You know,
Well, and to bring it back to the topic of this show of being left, and that's one of the big reasons why I am so anti-neoliberal, because the neoliberal
because of
policy
is rape.
is to do anything possible to spread free market around the world, their concept of free market through military force. That is the exact belief system that they entail.
Okay, so
So they would
in
do
terms of
anything.
violence against women is merely just a neoliberal concept. Not like it's not, you know.
That's not what I said. What I'm saying
But
is the neoliberal agenda, which is to push, which is why our country is an empire and has military in all these, 170 different countries we have bases now. Um, they do anything they can to cover up any sort of bad information about the military, because the military is their tool to push this agenda that they really believe in a philosophical way, that we need to be in other countries, forcing them to have these open markets, which really just means favorable to Western conglomerates. And so any type of assault, any type of murder, any type of kidnapping, any type of torture is covered up so that our media can show this idea that our military are these heroic patriots that are out there doing great stuff, freeing countries, building countries, when the reality is the complete opposite. They exist only to spread violence and steal resources. But every single person who supports Democrats and Republicans doesn't care. They do not put into their consideration when who they're voting for as to our foreign policy that is a continued murder rape cycle, you know? So, you know, when I get hyped up about not voting for somebody who votes for military budgets, that's what's behind my thoughts. Because I know that they're out there murdering and raping people and getting away with it.
well, people are being murdered and raped right here.
I mean,
Right here.
yes, they are, you
It's I
know,
mean,
but it's a
it's
national policy, and politicians that many people support.
that's the patriarchy. That's which then splinters off into any kind of government, any kind of military, any kind of government. That's what patriarchy is. That it's just dominance, rape, murder, exploitation that benefits
Right.
white
Sure.
men. Like that's no.
I mean, okay, but we still have choices in who we support and who we vote for. You know, and that's why I'm so vehement in voting for anyone who is anti-war of any kind. And many people don't put that into consideration. And the current election we have, there's no option for someone to vote anti-war. You vote Trump or you vote Biden, both pro-war, 100% pro-war.
Okay.
That's why I vote third party, and that's why I think it's morally, required for people to do that, which I know you don't agree with. But that's
I
the reason why I believe in that stuff.
okay. So, um, on
Yeah,
this spooky day,
it is spooky. We filmed very late from normal,
and it's
and it's
also
very
like
cloudy out.
very gray, very gray. You know,
Mhm.
what's a spooky message to leave our listeners?
The United States military rapes and murders every day. How's that for spooky?
I would say, as does everyone you know in your life,
Oh,
and
jeez.
so uh, it isn't just the
Okay.
military. Yeah. Um,
Right.
could be someone you know. Could
Sure,
be
sure, 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 sure. So on that note,
on that
thanks for
note.
listening.
Jesus Christ. Have a safe weekend. It is the 4th of July. Have a hot dog if you eat them. Socially distant, wear a mask, wash your hands, And until next time, we have been left
Left
and
and
correct.
correct.